Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and another tutorial. Today we're going to work on a modern guide to some granny squares. So as always, I don't like to dawdle, so let's get started. Okay, so let's go ahead and begin working on our classic patchwork granny square. Now I know it looks fairly complicated and I'm going to be honest with you, I had to frog it a couple of times before I actually got it down. But that's good on me because now I can show you how to do it the correct way without having to frog. Pretty colors. I think in the book it calls for, I think, 8 colors. This is the Modern Guide to Granny Squares. I am not affiliated. I do not get paid for this book. This book is not mine. I'm sorry. And I do not get paid to use this book. I'm not going to put it in the camera. It's just entirely too much room and too much space. It takes up too much space. So I have my colors, this pretty purple and some yellow and some blue. You can use as many colors as you want to. If you want to just use one color, you can do that as well. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start off a little different than I did with my patchwork here. I started off with the purple. So I'm going to start off with some yellow first. So the book is calling for a 3.5 millimeter hook. I'm going to go ahead and use my 4 millimeter hook just so that we can see the stitches with our magic circle and go ahead and go in. Now if you don't know how to make a magic circle, you can go ahead and go to my magic circle tutorial and I'll put the link up at the top so you can go ahead and click on that and it'll show you how to make your magic circle. So once you've made your magic circle, go ahead and chain 3. This counts as a double crochet. Go ahead and turn your work so that your tail is up on top. And now let's begin. I'm going to draw mine in just a little bit so I can have a better handle on it. So now we're going to go in with 2 double crochets. Here's 1 and here's 2. And we're going to chain 2 and then we're going to add another 3. And now chain 2 again and then keep going. At the end you want to have 12 stitches. Okay, so I'm back at the beginning of the row. I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch into that top stitch, that chain 3 that you made. Go ahead and slip stitch into that stitch, chain 1, and now we're going to fasten off. So keep your scissors handy because you're going to need them several times. I'm going to make it long enough so that I can weave in as I go along. So my next color is going to be my purple. I'm going to go ahead and add my yarn. Well, actually, once you've done that, and go ahead and remove your hook. Now in any of your chain spaces, I'm just going to go right here and insert my hook here and go ahead and add my purple yarn. Okay. So we're going to pull that through and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to go, let's move this out of the way. Make sure that you're sewing in your yarn. Make 2 more double crochets. That makes 3 because remember your chain 3 counts as a double crochet. Chain 2 and then add 3. And you're going to do that in each space. Okay, that's 2 and this is 3. Let me do that over. That yarn got in the way, that tail. Make sure you draw your tail in the middle. It should be nice and tight. Okay, so this is my last one here. So once you've done that, do not change. Just go right into your next one, into your next one, into the next one. When you come around, you should have 24 stitches going all the way around. So I'm going to meet you here at the end. Okay, so this is what we're working with. So now we're going to go into round 3. Go ahead and slip stitch into that top in the chain of the 3 chain from the previous row that you made. Go ahead and chain 1 and then fasten off again. Make sure you're happy with the colors that you're using, because once you fasten off and you're not happy with your colors, you will have to start over, and that's a lot of yarn cutting. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this tail off here, cut this off here, because I do not need it. It's in the way. Okay. So now we're going into row 3. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my blue. And again, you can make 1 color or you can use 3 colors. It's okay. Let's go ahead and back in again. So in any chain 2 space, go ahead and add your yarn. You're going to chain 2. And it's the same process. I'm sorry, chain 3. Same process. That double crochet counts as a double crochet. Go in with 2 double crochets. Oops. And then chain 2. So once you do your first corner, go in and do your next 3 double crochets and then do your next corner and around like that. And then go ahead and chain and fasten off. So since we're only using 3 colors and we started with our yellow, or at least I started with my yellow, I'm going to go back into my yellow and we're going to go into row 4. This is what we have so far. Okay, so again, in any corner, go ahead and add your yarn. Once you get it in there, go ahead and chain 3. Oops. And just like round 3, the same thing going around, except we're going to put our 3 double crochets in the middle and the sides here before we get to that stitch. Okay, so I'm at the end of row 4. I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch into my first double crochet, which is that chain. Chain 1 and go ahead and bind off. Okay. So now we're stepping into row 5, and we're going to go ahead and go into any chain space, into any corner, and let's grab our next color, which is purple. Go ahead in and chain 2. And that does not count as a double crochet. So go back into that space and make another double crochet, or make a double crochet. And now we're going to make 1 double crochet in each of the next 12. So there's 1, 2. Okay, so now I'm at the end of the row, and in this chain 2 space, I'm going to make another corner. So remember your 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets into that corner, and then make your way around to the other side. So I'm going to continue doing that, and I will meet you when I get to the other side at the end. Okay, so now I'm at the other side at the end of the row. And in this last, in this corner stitch here, I'm going to make 2 double crochets, 1 double crochet, sorry. And then we stop here. Go ahead and chain 3. We're going to stay with the same color. Go back through it again and do another row. So you're going to repeat the previous row again with your double crochets all the way across. Do your corner and then come back down again. Alright, so I'm at the end of the row. I'm going to put my last double crochet here. And now I'm going to go ahead and chain 1 and change my yarn. Now I had made a mistake earlier, so I had already cut off my yarn. I just redid this section. So go ahead and turn off your cut off your yarn and go ahead and let's proceed. Okay, so go ahead and turn your work and put your hook back in. I'm going to go into my next color, which is this blue here. Go ahead in and chain 2. And now you just change the color, so you're just going to go ahead and do the same thing again for this row. Make your double crochets all the way across. When you get to the corner, make your corner, and then come down again on the side again. So I'm going to continue doing this, and then I will meet you when I get there. Okay, so now we're at the end of this row here, which is row 8. And we're going to chain 1. I'm going to go ahead and change out my color. So we're now stepping into row 9. I'm sorry, it's row 8. Row 8. Make 2 double crochets into that first stitch. And then you're going to skip 2 stitches and make 3 double crochets into that third stitch. Again, you can incorporate the yarn if you want to, or wait to go ahead and weave that in later. But that's the pattern for this row, row 9. 3 double crochets, skip 2, 3 double crochets. Okay, so I'm at the end of the row, and I've made my final 3 clusters here. You should have 5 clusters in the middle and your 2 double crochets on the end. So I'm going to put 2 double crochets into this corner here, and that's going to end for that row, for this row. And a chain 2 and turn your work. We're going to keep the same color, go into that first stitch with a double crochet, and now you're going to make another double crochet, but you're going to make it in between those first 2 stitches and those 3 clusters over to the left. You're going to put that right in the middle. You're going to make 3 double crochets here. When you've done that, just continue across with your 3 double crochets into each section, and I will be back. Okay, so I'm at the end of the row, and I have all of my clusters here. In this last stitch, I'm going to make 1 double crochet. So now go ahead and chain 1 and change your color. So we're changing colors now. Remember to chain 1 before you pull your yarn through. Grab my new color and go into this first stitch here of the row. Chain 2 and put another double crochet into that same stitch. Well, 1 double crochet. That chain does not count. And now in between the double crochet from the previous row and your 3 clusters, that first 3 clusters, you're going to make another double crochet. So once you've done that, now just repeat yourself all the way across, making 3 double crochets into each of those sections. Okay, so I'm at the end of the row. I'm going to make my double crochet between that 3 double crochet cluster and the 1 double crochet in the previous row. And then I'm going to make another double crochet into the last stitch, just like we did on the other side. And those are your stitches there. So now we're going to go into our next row. So now we're in row 11, but we're going to go to row 7 to start working on the side of our project. So now flip your work over, go to side 7, go to row 7 and insert your hook. Okay, so let's add our yarn on here and slip through, and now we're going to go back into the stitch with a double crochet and then skip 2 chains, 2 stitches, and go into that third stitch with a V-stitch. So make your double crochet, chain 2 and another double crochet into the same stitch. Skip another 2, make another V-stitch, keep doing that across, and then I'll meet you at the end. So now we're going to continue making our way across because we have to fill in these other rows here. So in that next section, which is a double crochet row where we made our clusters, you're going to put another V-stitch there. So go right into that section where that first row of clusters is. Make your double crochet, chain 2, and another double crochet into the same stitch. And then go right into the next row with another V-stitch, chain 2, and another double crochet. And then one double crochet, just like in the previous row, in that last stitch. Okay, so go ahead and chain 1. And now we're going to bind off and change our color again. So turn your work. And now go ahead and add your new color. Go into that first stitch with your hook. Okay, so once you've changed your color, go ahead and chain 2. And go back into that first stitch again with a double crochet. And now in your V-stitches, you're going to make 3 double crochets. So no chaining, just do that all the way across, 3 double crochets into each of your V-stitches. And I will meet you at the end. Okay, so now at the end of the row, you're going to make 1 double crochet. And there she is. So now go ahead and continue on and cut off your work. Okay, so now add your yarn here at the beginning. Go ahead and slip through and chain 2. Go back into your stitch with a double crochet. And now continue on. Go into that stitch in between with another double crochet. And then skip those 3 stitches. And continue making your clusters across. And I'll meet you when I get to the end. So now at the end of the row, go ahead and go in between that cluster and that first double crochet or that last double crochet with a double crochet. And now make another double crochet into that last double crochet, just like you did in the beginning. So now we're going to chain 1 and cut off again. Okay, so this is what your project should look like so far. Don't worry about those edges. We're going to come around with some single crochets. So now go ahead and turn your work and go back into that first double crochet. Add your new color. Go ahead and slip through and chain 2. Go into your first that first stitch where you made your slip stitch with a double crochet. And now we're going to continue on and go into these stitches again with our 3 double crochets. And make your way all the way across again with your 3 clusters. And then I'm going to meet you back at the beginning again. So now at the end of the row, make your last double crochet into that stitch. And there's your row. So now we're going to continue on. Chain 1 and cut off your yarn so you can change your colors. And turn your work. So now we're going to continue on. Go ahead and add your next color again. Pull through, chain 2, and now put a double crochet into that first stitch. And then you're going to make double crochets all the way across. So you put that first stitch in there, and now you're going to make another 26 double crochets going across. And I will meet you when I get there. So at the end of the row, go ahead and make your last 2 double crochets. Chain 1, 2. Now we're going to work our way down the sides of the project because we have to fill in these gaps on the side. So now you're going to make 2 double crochets into each row in each of the next 4 rows. So this is your next row. We're going to count that as 1. Put 2 double crochets there. Go into the next row. This is row 2. You're going to do that 4 times. You're going to do that for 4 rows. So this is the second row, and then do another 2 rows after this, and I will be back. Okay, so this is the last 2 double crochets for those side rows. Now you're just immediately going to go right into some double crochets. You have some clusters here that you have to take care of. So go into each of those with just 1 double crochet. So do this for 2 rows. So make this first row and then make your second row, and I will be back. So now this is what you should have so far. So we're going to continue on with our project. We're going to go ahead and begin making some single crochets. So I've already cut off my yarn. I'm going to grab my next color, which is my blue, and go ahead and slip stitch into there and chain 1. And now you're going to make 1 single crochet, go back into that same stitch with a single crochet, and then we're going to keep going all the way across. When you get to the corner, you're going to make 1 single crochet, chain 1, and 1 single crochet, and then continue around with your single crochet. That just makes it easier to come around the corner, and I will be back. Okay, so we're at the end of the row. Now we're going to make our way down the sides. So in each of these double crochet rows, we're going to put a single crochet. So you can either do 2 in this first one, 1 in the next one, 2 in the next one. It's up to you. But I'm going to put 2 single crochets into each of these rows, these double crochet rows on the side of the work, so we can finish off. So when I get closer to the bottom portion, the middle portion where we're going to change it up, I'll be back. Okay, so we're getting closer. I'm making my 2 more double crochets. I got a couple more rows left. I'm sorry, single crochets. So here's the next one. 2 single crochets here, and then 2 single crochets here. So now you're automatically leading into your clusters. So now you're just going to make 1 single crochet in each of those double crochets, in each of those 3 clusters, going all the way down. And I will meet you when I get to that corner. Actually, just go ahead and when you get there, make a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, and then continue with your single crochets. So at the end of the row, go ahead and go into that first single crochet with a slip stitch. And now you can go around again with the border again. I am going to do another row going around just to clean it up a little bit, and I will be back. Okay, so here she is, very nice granny square. I have 2 rows of single crochets going around. So if you want to, you can continue with your single crochets or make another granny square if you're making a blanket or whatever. So I want to thank you for watching this tutorial. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and come back again for another tutorial. Have a great day. Bye-bye.